Hi, my name is Marika Lake and I live on the west coast of Australia with my hubby Greg, and we homeschool our 4 kiddos. I have Will, who's in grade 8, Em is in grade 4, Cruz is in grade 2 and little Jackson is in pre-primary, and we have been homeschooling here in the Lake House Homeschool for 4 years now. We're about to start a new unit study from Gather Round Homeschool, and we're going to be studying Africa, and I am going to give you a look inside this beautiful curriculum from Gather Round Homeschool. This is the second year that we've been using Gather Round Homeschool unit studies, and we really enjoy using them. I have got other flip-throughs of the curriculum and reviews of the different unit studies that we have used so far. And I've put a playlist together on my channel which has all of those videos. So I'm going to fly a card up the top here and put that link in the description box down below to that playlist. So if you would like to check out the other unit studies that we have completed and the review is where I share with you what we loved about the unit and any extra things that we added in. So if you'd like to watch those videos, make sure you check out that link in the description box down below and you can go and have a look at those other videos. Okay, enough of my chatting. Let's get in and have a look at the Africa unit study. When I purchased my unit studies from Gather Round Homeschool, I actually purchased the Family Digital Bundle. Now, the Gather Round do not deliver the hard copies here in Australia. They only do deliveries, I believe, in Canada and the United States. So for those of you who are watching from Australia or another country, I do recommend that you purchase the digital download and then you can just print it off yourself. So I purchased the family bundle. And in the family bundle, you get the teacher's guide and then you get all of the notebooks. So I have only printed off 3 of the notebooks because I have 3 children doing this unit study, but I have on my computer downloaded all of the notebooks for all of the ages, which is excellent. So it's designed like that, so that obviously if you have multiple children using the curriculum, you've got in that family bundle, you have the notebook for every child, but also there will be 4 years worth of unit studies, and then it's designed that you do the 4 years of unit studies and then you go back to the beginning and you start again with the idea that, say my child was doing the early reader notebook the first time that we were doing the Africa unit study. When we come back in 3 to 4 years time, they've moved on for that and they will probably be like in the elementary books, and so then you already have that and you just print that off. I hope that makes sense. And so yeah, as I said, I purchased the family digital bundle. You can digitally just buy the teacher's guide and just 1 notebook if that's the way that you would like to do it. But I have the family digital bundle, and then I just print my things at home on my own printer. I have a printer that has refillable ink on it, and so I just have a bottle of ink and I just refill it up. I don't have to purchase cartridges and things like that, and the ink lasts for a really long time. So it's super cost effective to do it that way. And then I just purchased a binding machine off of I don't know, eBay or Amazon or something like that. And I just bind the books myself and put the plastic on. I've got these, this is the only size of binders that I've got. I would actually like a bigger size, but these are working just fine. So yeah, I buy the family digital bundle and that gives me the teacher's guide, and then it gives me all of the notebooks. So the curriculum is designed that you read aloud from the teacher's guide. This has all the information that you're learning about, and then each child has their own notebook to work through after you have read from the teacher's guide. And so in this video, I will give you a look inside the teacher's guide and then look at some of the activities in each of the notebooks that I have printed out. Let's take a look inside the teacher's guide. Okay, so at the beginning here, we have a bunch of pages that just kind of goes through what the curriculum is, how you're going to use it, and what it looks like. Now, if you ever wanted a closer look at the pages that I'm showing you, all you have to do is pause and have a closer look. But I'm just going to go through this really quickly. Otherwise, the video just ends up being too long. But you can see here, here they've just listed the different notebooks that come with the unit study and how your children will fit into them. So they have a pre-reader notebook, and then they have here that it's for about 3 to 5 years old. Then we have an early reader notebook that's for 6 to 8 year olds. We have early elementary, which is for 8 to 10 year olds. Upper elementary for 10 to 12 year olds. Middle school, which is 12 to 15 year olds, and high school, which is 16 to 18 year olds. And the beauty with this is that you can slot your child into any of these areas that you think they might fit. If you think they need to move ahead, you can print off the next age notebook for them, or you want them to, they're taking it a little bit slower, things like that. So that's why I also love about this curriculum. You can slot your child anywhere in that you feel that they will fit. This is just an overview what some of the pages are going to look like, how long it's going to take. So that is the golden question people always ask me when I am doing Gather Round unit studies. And so they say here in the notebook that it can take about 1.5 to 2 hours to complete the unit study, and then you would add in math. So this is an all-inclusive unit study. It has all of the subject learning areas. So it's got your language arts and science, geography, history, art, Bible, but you do have to add in your own math program. Okay, these first few pages here are really great. They put a list together of extra books that you might like to add in to the unit study. Then these books are not required, they are an optional extra. And they've broken it down into the different ages for the children, and they've just done a whole list of books here that you could add in that you could use as read alouds or that the children could read on their own and things like that. So, and here's some videos that they've included as well, and some resources and guides. As I said, this is just a book suggestion list. You don't have to have these books to complete the unit study, but these are just a collection of books that they've put together that Gather Round recommend that you use. Then we have some planning pages at the beginning here too. I'm not a planner. I am a grab and go girl, which this curriculum is. You can literally grab it, read it, and off you go. There's not too much planning that you have to do with it. But if you would like to zhuzh it up, add extra things, or love just to be super organized, they do have planning pages that you can use that they've broken down into lessons, and then some more note pages here. And here is the table of contents. These are all of the countries that you're going to be looking at in Africa. There are 20 lessons. Here in the Lake House Homeschool, we do 1 lesson a day, 3 times a week. And so we get it done when we get it done, but there is 20 lessons, and that's how we do it. So if you want a closer look at the countries, you can pause that and have a look. And then we jump straight into the lessons. I'll just show you what a couple of the lessons look like and do a quick flip through of the rest of the teacher's guide. So this is lesson 1, and this is an introduction to Africa. And the curriculum is designed that you read all of this information here aloud to your children. And then they have these really great illustrations. We've got maps, and also this is Mount Kilimanjaro, so they've included photographs as well. Now, what I do with my teacher's guide, because I have purchased this digitally, I have it on my Apple Mac and I have Apple TV. And so I cast the teacher's guide from my computer to the TV, and then we all sit and snuggle up on the couch and I read aloud to the children, and they can see these images up on the TV, so everybody can see it. So they just pick a comfy spot in the lounge room, and then they can see the pictures that I'm looking at. So that's another really cool idea. So these are all the read aloud sections. They do provide bits here where you can stop and you can go and dive a little bit further and do some extension activities and do a little bit more research. Again, They are optional. You don't have to do those, but there is some extension throughout, which is really great. So again, that's the read aloud portion here. And then at the end of the lesson here, they have included just a brief overview of what the children will be doing in their notebooks. So this is the early reader, what they'll be covering and so forth like that. So as the parent, you can have a quick look at what's going to be covered in the notebooks, and sometimes the children will have the same activity throughout the different notebooks, and they'll let you know in here so that you can then do that activity all together. Then it goes on to lesson 2, as you can see here, and then we're starting to dive into the countries. The first country that they're going to look at is Morocco. You can see here they've got a quick facts section where they have included the flag and quick information about the country, and they have the map of Africa here, and then locating where Morocco is, because the children will have this in their notebooks and they'll need to locate Morocco on the map, so that's really handy. So this is the read aloud section here with a extension activity, and then read aloud here, another extension activity there, a little bit more reading aloud here, and then some interesting facts, and then again looking at what they're going to be doing in the notebook. Now, with the younger children, they often include colouring in pages in their notebook. So if you look at this and you think, wow, that's a lot of reading aloud for my younger children, they might want to do a colouring in while they are listening to you read aloud. As I said, we have the pictures up on the TV, so most of my children are actually quite happy just to sit there and look at the pictures on the TV and listen, and they might be eating their morning tea or their breakfast while I'm reading aloud. So if you just need to work it out. My older son, who is 13, happy just to sit there while I read and look at the TV. My younger one might do a colouring in while he's listening, and usually my 2 middle ones will eat and look at the TV while I'm reading aloud. Okay, so that was lesson 2. And then we get into lesson 3. This one is looking at Egypt, and it is all the lessons are set out exactly the same way, with obviously different pictures and some different activity breaks. But let me just do a quick flip through of the rest of the teacher's guide for you. have 3 children doing the unit study, I've just printed off 3 books that I'll give you a quick look inside. I have the early reader for my guy who is 7. I have the early elementary for my daughter who is 9. And then my son who is 13, he is using the middle school notebook. So let's have a quick look at what the early reader looks like. Okay, just welcome letter at the beginning. Now, I really love that they include this. This is a scope and sequence for this age group. So this is a quick overview of all of the subjects and topics that is going to be covered in this notebook. Again, if you want a closer look, I just encourage you to pause and have a look. But this is really great. Sometimes I take these out and pop them into my kids' portfolios so that if my moderator wants a more of an in-depth overview of what we have done during the year, I can pull these out and show them. And so as you can see here, this is the geography area. This is all of the history that they're going to be doing. This is science, this is Bible, this is art, and the language arts here as well. And language arts is obviously spread throughout the whole thing too. That's really great. I love that they have a scope and sequence. And this is another thing that I really like too. This is a reading log. And so every time that my kids read a book, I get them to fill out their reading log, and then we put these into their portfolios so that the moderator can see what kind of books they've been reading throughout the year. And so for here, this is where you'll put one book here. It's just having the title of the book, the author, draw the book cover. This is your favorite character, and this is my favorite part. So you could either draw it or write it in there. And so from unit study to unit study, sometimes they look a bit different, but they're basically set out like this. So I really like those reading logs. Okay, colouring in page, super cute. So they could be working on this when you're reading aloud, if you remembered when I was talking about that in the teacher's guide. Here is the table of contents, and you can see they have an appendix section at the back of the book as well, which includes any cutouts that they need, maps, flashcards, and things like that. Okay, this is lesson 1. As you can see, we've already started. We've only done lesson 1. And you can see it's got number 1 up here. So after I have read aloud to the children, they then come and work in their notebooks. And for lesson 1, they have this page, this page, this page, this page, and this page, and then it goes on to lesson 2. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So this is the first one. This is like a notebooking page. They will have the flag that they need to colour in. They'll need to locate the country on the map and write any interesting facts there. Here we're learning about the Sahara Desert, and so there's a read it section here. If your child is able to read or is learning to read, they can have a go at reading that, or you can read aloud. And then this was we are actually going to be making a diorama of the Sahara Desert. So it's said for us to do the first step of that diorama, and then we'll continue to make that throughout the unit study. Then this, we've got writing, so it's the Bible verse, and then he's written that there. That was a trace, like the letters are there, and then he's traced it. Then there's some spelling and language arts work here as well. And then it goes on to this one. What's this one? History. This one's reading about David Livingstone and some rabbit trails to do with that. And then it goes on to the next one. This is number 2. And so again, this is a notebooking page for Morocco. It has the flag here that they need to colour. They need to find Morocco on the map and colour it in and write any interesting facts that they learnt about Morocco. This is like another notebooking page for science. They're learning about the North African hedgehog, and the information for this would have been in the teacher's guide. We would have read about the hedgehog in the lesson, and then they're going to write about the habitat, the life cycle, and any interesting facts in these cute little hedgehogs. This is a language arts activity. This is a journaling activity. So there's instructions here, and you're going to write, draw, or dictate a journal entry about your experience in Morocco, about what you learnt in Morocco. That's cool. So you could put, I'm guessing they'll have a book like that. You could put a book together like that. And then we have, what's this, colouring in page. Trace the lines and colour your own hedgehog. So again, if they could actually do this while you were reading aloud as well. And then there's an extension activity here. Cut out the hedgehog in the appendix and add it to the desert you made in lesson 1. So remember I said we're making the diorama, and so we're going to add to that each kind of day. And so then you go to the appendix section, and I'm presuming there'll be a hedgehog in there somewhere for you to cut out and pop into your diorama. And this is then the next activity. So we've got reading here, and then writing out sentences about what you learnt from reading aloud. And then we are into the next lesson. And it just goes through like that. So we have 5 pages to do for each of the countries that we're looking at. And throughout the unit study, you will cover all of the subjects. So not every day you will do science, but science will be dotted over the 20 lessons. And you do language arts each day, and then the other things will be dotted over the 20 lessons. And then of course we add in maths to this as well. So this is the appendix section at the end of the notebook, and here are all the cutouts and things that you will need to complete any of the lessons that are in here. So here are the cutouts that are going into the diorama that we were making, that I was talking to you about. And then any other cutouts that he might need for the different learning activities that he has. And these are the travel journal cutouts, which we looked at one of those activities earlier. So these are all the cutouts here. So we will need to take these out and then cut along there. And then we can staple them together to make our own travel journal, or you could glue them into another book if you wanted a proper book for the travel journal. But this is a really, really cool idea to make a little travel journal. So I like that. And what else have we got back here? I think we've got some flags and maps. Yep, here we go. So these are some flags, which is really cool because you can make these into flashcards. So you can see they've got dotted lines there where you can cut them out and then laminate them, and then it has the country written on the other side. So as you're learning them, you could use these as flashcards for the kids to learn the different flags for the countries, and then it has the answer on the back. So that's cool. And then it has their own copy of the Africa map at the back as well. This is the early elementary book, and it is set out exactly the same as the early reader. Here is the scope and sequence for what the learning areas are going to be covered in this unit study, and also then there's a reading log as well, which I showed you in the other book. And then straight into the activities. Now, a lot of these activities are similar across the notebooks. For instance, in this one, in the early reader book, they had the flag there that they had to colour in. And for the next stage up, this is just a blank box, and the kids have to draw it themselves. Again, the map is the same, but it's not labelled, and so they will have to label and colour it in. So it just kind of gets a little bit more difficult. But they have same activities. So that she's working on a diorama as well. In fact, all the kids are. And you can see in the early reader, they had the same Bible verse, but it was printed on here, and Crease had to print over top of it, where Em just has blank lines that she needs to write herself. So same kind of activities, just a little bit more difficult. But she has 5 pages to complete as well. So that was for unit 1, lesson 1, sorry, and then into lesson 2. So same kind of activities, but just looks a little bit different, a little bit more difficult. So for Morocco, they had this notebooking page where she needs to draw the flag. She needs to label and colour Morocco here, write any interesting facts. Here again, learning about the North African hedgehog, and she needs to include the information on the hedgehogs. I think she has 1 extra hedgehog than the early reader. I think Cruz just said 3, so she's got 4 to fill out. She will be doing the journaling page as well, so her cutouts for that will be in the back of her book. And then here, and then that's the end of lesson 2, and then into lesson 3. So again, always starts with that notebooking page, which is great. And I will give you a quick flip through of some of the activities in this one. Now, sometimes what my daughter does with these kind of activities is that she will actually have this notebooking page with her while I am reading aloud. So she will complete this page, and usually this page while I'm reading aloud. She is really good at functioning like that. She's able to listen at the same time and work. She just sits on the floor or on the couch and kind of fills that out. And so I let her do that because she can concentrate at the same time. And then when I finish reading aloud, she'll finish the other pages. So that's another idea that you can do with the kids if they struggle to sit that whole time, is you can kind of read the bit of, about the flag and where to find it, and you could stop and do that and go back to it. You can really work this curriculum however it is that works for you and your family. And she just has an appendix section at the end as well, which is the same. She's got her cutouts for her diorama and any other cutouts that she'll need to complete her activity. And then this is her travel journal at the end here. And she as well has the flags that you can turn into flashcards, and she has a map of Africa as well. So that was a look at the early elementary book. And the last one I have printed off is the middle school book. So we'll have a quick look inside. Here is the scope and sequence for middle school. And then this is the reading log pages. So same kind of idea, but just looks a little bit different as they're getting older. So it just has, write the title here, a brief description of the book, the author down here, and then just giving it a 5-star rating. So here's the table of contents. It's all the same countries. And then we jump in to the notebooking pages. And I'll show one where I'll show them because we've already done that one. So we'll just have a look at this one. So this is Morocco. This is the notebooking page. So as you can see, it looks a little bit different. Here it is saying draw and colour the flag of Morocco with the correct colours. And here it need to write out the meaning of the Moroccan flag. And so there's a lot more research for the children to do in the older years. So they need to have access to the internet to do that research, or you might have books in your homeschool room or that you'll check out of the library that will be able to help them with that. So some of the information may be in the teacher's guide, but they do require them to do some extra research to complete their activities. As you can see here, they've listed a sources section. So if they've used extra resources to complete this, then they need to cite those resources down here. Here, as you can see, this is their map, and the countries are drawn in, but it's blank. So they need to locate where it is on the map, colour in and label. And this is writing some more information. So same idea with the notebooking page, but it's obviously getting more and more difficult as the notebook levels go up. Same activity here, just a little bit different with the hedgehogs. Putting the travel journal together, so they will be doing it too. Obviously it will just look a little bit different. Again, this is reading and then the activity and a space for them to write. And then same here, reading, and then the extension activity here. So sometimes you might need some extra pages for them to write on and things like that, or they might want to write it on the computer. And then we go into lesson 2. So same thing, it's 5 pages, just a little bit more in-depth and difficult as the pages go on. As the notebooks go up in ages. And then this is into lesson 3. Again, there's the notebooking page. Okay, like that. All right, let me just give you a quick flip through of this notebook. Thank Thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope that you found that helpful. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I love it if you would just hit that red subscribe button down below. And if you click on the bell next to it, it will give you notifications about when I post. I usually post on Mondays and I do a book flip throughs on Fridays as well. And don't forget to like, and if you have any, if you want to know any questions at all about what I've talked about, please leave a comment in the comments box down below and I will get back to you. Again, thank you so much for watching today and I'll see you next time. Bye.